First time he got me out first ball. Second time he got me out second ball. I was like, shit, I better work out this sweep shot. Third time I faced him, his head was still on the big screen and went bang straight between the eyes. And so we're built different here. But then when he bowled a top spinner, you thought it was going to like hit you on the full and it'd just drop. I was like, this guy's an absolute genius. When I grew up, when you guys grew up, you're in the backyard kicking the footy. You're bowling free balls down the street. Where is that now? I was pretty pissed off. But, you know, you got to live by the sword, you got to die by the sword as well.
America, is that where the growth is going to be in the game in the next 10 years?
100%, yeah.
How did you become this crazy T20 freak show?
Growing up in the backyard, that's all you want to do is hit fours and sixes. No one was in the backyard just trying to block out, right?
Holy schmoly!
Right, today on the Mastering Podcast, we're joined by someone who's not only smashed sixes on the cricket ground around the world, but also now hitting new heights in coaching and leadership. Chris Lynn is an elite Australian cricketer known for his explosive batting and global impact in T20 leagues. But off the field, he's also the founder of Playbook Coach, a platform helping the next generation of athletes develop the mindset, habits and game plans needed for success in sport and in life. We're thrilled to dive into his journey from professional sport to purposeful leadership. Welcome to the Mastering Podcast. I'm the host, Magnus Olsen, and joining me today, I've got my favourite co-host, Don Sanka and Lucas Meadowcroft. Welcome to the podcast, boys.
Cheers, mate. Looking forward to this one.
Yeah.
We have an absolute cracker guest today, Mr. Chris Lynn. Welcome, mate.
Thanks, mate. Thanks for those warm introduction.
So you've mastered the short form of cricket, but off the field, what have you had to unlearn in order to evolve as a person?
Oh, tough one straight off the bat. No, honestly, I think, obviously, being a professional athlete since I was 19, I feel that, I'm closer towards the end than the start, obviously, trying to put someone else first. And I found since having my daughter, she's 2.5 now, you got to put her, you got to put your missus first. And I actually really struggle with that. So to relearn to put someone else first rather than just concentrate on Chris Lynn, the cricketer, put other people first, because most important people in your life, they should come first before a game of cricket, in my eyes. So just relearning that and, just trying to be a good person away from the game.
Right, talking about Chris Lynn, the cricketer, this is called mastering, right? And you're the master of what we call the new age cricket. When I was growing up, we didn't even like the one-day cricket, and it became very popular. Like if you weren't playing tests, then you're not a cricketer, right? And then the evolution happened. So tell us a bit about, how did you get started? How did you become this crazy T20 freak show that's like hitting sixes everywhere?
Yeah, I suppose it starts with everyone wants to dream of the baggy green, right? So my dream was to play test cricket, but just the nature of a couple of injuries, and then the pathway that T20 has given me, and a lot of people around the world, like the franchise cricket, that was just so much more appealing to me. The appeal of fielding for 5 days wasn't there for me. I lost that interest. I wanted to whack the ball over the fence. So, growing up in the backyard, that's all you want to do is hit fours and sixes. No one was in the backyard just trying to block out, right? So I just thought that's why I'm playing the game. Like rugby league, I wanted to kick goals. I wanted to be that guy. Every ball that I tried to hit, whether it's at the driving range, whether you got a baseball bat in your hand or a cricket bat, you're trying to hit the thing. You're trying to hit the cover off the ball. And I found, playing other sports, that definitely helped me with my power aspect of the game. But that's what brought me the most fun, trying to whack the ball. And no matter how big and how tall and how fast they were, I could still smack them straight back over the head. So that's, in a nutshell, that's how I got to T20 cricket and T10 now. You said
that
before.
Got to T10?
Work smarter, not harder, mate.
I've been living under a rock. I'm still stuck in T20.
Yeah, well, like back in your day, you guys are scoring 220 in a one-day game, right? The IPL just recently, they're scoring 270, 280 in a T20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Travis Head's Sunrisers Hyderabad, they're absolutely smoking it. Even last night, there was a 240 score and the game never goes backward in any industry, in any work industry.
Has the pitches changed a bit, though, for the batsmen to be so competitive?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Are they smaller?
I don't think so. I just think the guys are, we talk about growing up and, everyone goes to the gym, everyone's got a program. The world never goes backwards, whether it's strength and conditioning, sports science, and life. And I think the batsmen are just getting so much better, bigger, stronger. The quality of the willow is better.
Do you think they're being untaught how to block a ball now?
Well, not. You don't teach a kid, I believe, how to block the ball. You just tell the kid, hit the ball that way, and he will find out and work out his own way or method to hit the ball there. For me, it might be a late cut. For McLean Maxwell, it's a reverse sweep to hit the ball in the same area. So you give them that directive, and then they just work it out themselves. And the best in the world do that, and they do that. They adapt in every condition. Obviously, in India, the ball doesn't bounce as high, so you've got to find a way there. In Australia, the ball comes through here a lot more with the bounce, so you've got to again adapt to that. And as I said, you don't tell them how to do this because they'll work that out. As cricket as a batter, and this is what I drill into as a coach. You're out there to score runs, not survive. The best form of defense is offense, and that's the style of cricket that I played, and I got drilled into that from Brendan McCullum, Darren Lehman. Yes, we are sportsmen, but we're entertainers, right? And what better way to play the game than entertain and having fun?
Do you think that's why when you mentioned that first thing around your family, it's hard to, disintegrate or go the opposite direction of what you used to think about, because it's a team sport. It always has been a team sport, but very much it's a me sport as well. Yeah. And I have to be the best because I'm out there and I got to hit these sixes nonstop to be the best. But I know I'm still part of the team, but it's still about me. And then trying to remove yourself and go, actually, this is my family and put my family first. Is that why it's hard to transition?
And the older I get, I always got disappointed if say we won, but I only scored 10 runs. But now I'm the other way. If we won and I only got 10, I'm totally cool with that because, I tried to play my role. It didn't work out. But at the end of the day, the team won. So that aspect changes for me. And then you move to the family life. I could have a shit day, but as long as you walk in the house and there's a big smile and a big hug, that's a win, right? So everything, once you zoom out, and I like to call it the helicopter view, you zoom out, you can oversee everything. You take the emotion out of it. That's what has made me realise, what's life about. Obviously results are good, entertaining's fun, but as I said, you zoom out, look at that big picture. Those you might just have a 1% win in the day. Those 1% don't look like a lot, but a bit like when you're flying a plane, if we're going to Townsville from Brisbane, and then you might end up in Darwin because you're 1% out, and they all add up. But when you're in the moment, it doesn't feel like much, but at the end of the day, you're going in a different direction, slowly. So those key points are important.
To what he said, the long form game to me felt like a team sport, whereas the short form game seems like an individual sport. It's just like a little.
Especially the contracts coming from
Yeah,
yeah, that's right. I suppose you're relying on bigger individual performances in the shorter format. Like the top 4 or 5 batters are out there to go bang, 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 and you don't want to change your plan A. You want to still be aggressive if you lost 2 quick wickets, because it only takes your plan A to come off, and you'd like to think out of 5 batters, one of them will come off, and then you win. But the biggest thing is, as a batter, if I miss out, don't get itchy feet. If I miss out again on a score, I go 2, 3, 5. I say I'm not out of form. I'm 1 game closer to the man of the match. Yeah. It's my turn coming. And so that's the way I like to look at things, rather than that half glass empty type attitude.
Do you even think about how many ducks you got?
All the time. You could go 100, but if you get a duck and then you're walking out there the next game, you're like, oh, mate, what's going on? All that work, all that bravado, your chest is out for those innings, but then you get a ball or you smoke one down, deep long on fence and you're out. It's so humbling, so grounding, but that's the nature of the beast.
You mentioned a lot about the physicality of the sport now, and people are training so much harder and they're getting bigger, they're getting stronger. What about mentally? Is there something that sets apart the elite players, do you think, mentally?
Yeah, definitely. And that's what I just touched on about, if I do miss out, my mentality is I'm 1 game closer to the man of the match, because you can quite easily Well, just take the Big Bash, for example. There's 10 games in the regular season. I'd like to think I'm going to win 2 games off my own bat. So I could miss out first 8 games a year, and I'll still be confident I'm going to go bang, bang. And the top 4, if they win 2 games each off your own bat, 8 wins, you're in the semis. Like, you've probably finished in the top. Yeah, so that's the way I think about it. And as a professional, panic last. First one who panics generally is a team that fumbles first, and then players are too good, teams are too good to jump on that.
We had Phil Jauncey in here the other week, and he's a renowned performance psychologist. Do you have your own personal one, or the teams do? How big is that in the sport today?
Well, for me personally, it's massive. Ever since COVID, so during COVID, I did like 4 months hard quarantine in total, 2 weeks at a time in that 2.5 years. So I was in a bit of a headspace going, what's going on? Like,
were you stuck on the other side of the planet?
Other side of the planet, but like even in the hotel room, I come back here, like you just walk around in circles, listen to podcasts.
Yeah. So you weren't home?
You weren't at home. I did 1-2 week stint at home.
Oh, wow.
Actually, I got caught on a golf course.
Really bad place to get caught. Yeah.
But so I invested in myself with a sports psych who actually, grew up in Ipswich, and he lives on the south side here now. So he works with some big names, and it's funny because you've got team sports psychs, right? But I'm not a big believer in them because they get, you tell them your weaknesses or whatnot. Who does he report to? Their coach.
Prerogative goes to fair enough.
So I'm like, I wasn't comfortable with that. So I found if I outsource my own sports psych or trainer or whatever it may be, that just really helped me. And little things like journaling every day. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then you can download basically what's going on in your brain. If you do have a bit of fog there, you download it, you move on, and just keeping things really simple. No need to reinvent the wheel, understanding that it is just a game that we play and bringing everything back. And if you're having a shit day, you're actually having a shit day, or are you just carrying on a bit?
What about visualization? Are you a big one on looking at that?
Night before a game, yeah. Yep. Obviously, in the world we live in now, the footage that's out there, I can download data of bowlers and whatnot, but I just like to lay in bed, just chill out, and who's going to bowl at you generally with all the information that you get, and you just repeat sort of your success you've had against that certain bowler, or a weakness if he's got you out, and how you're going to combat. Hopefully throw the first punch. But visualization is big, because I believe when you get to that moment, you've already seen it, and then you can just take a step back, deep breath.
We've had a couple of Olympic athletes and Phil Jauncey last week, and one of the biggest things is the importance of having that support, having that performance coaching or the mental health support.
Yeah.
One of the biggest issues I find, it's so hard to find one, right? Like how do you go about, how did you get yours? Like how does an individual athlete at any level find that support?
Mine was just through a really good mate of mine. He said because he actually works with, he worked with Red Bull, and he's now works with Lance Stroll, so like some big athletes. And it's not cheap, but as I said, when you invest in yourself, I don't think there's a price limit on that. Without this bloke, I don't reckon I'd be sitting here today. Yeah, could have been retired, could have been wherever. So as I said, when you invest in yourself, that's priceless. And the big thing about, I find, with sports psychs, they don't go out and advertise, because that's not their brand, because they don't need that. If they're going to preach something,
especially the good ones, right?
That's right. I believe the good ones, they're a ghost. You can't find them online. I'm like,
that's why I was asking the question.
Yeah, like it's actually really cool, because if they're going to be out there on billboards, whatnot, I think they're preaching the wrong or teaching the wrong thing to their.
So word of mouth
clients.
is the only way you can find these people.
Word of mouth, basically.
We're going to get to Playbook coach, soon, but I think there's a good opportunity there, right? Like it's
absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the biggest thing, for Playbook, we when I grew up, when you guys grew up, you're in the backyard kicking the footy.
Yeah,
you're bowling cricket balls down the street. Where is that now? We're giving kids opportunity to. Yes, it is an app, so a little bit contradictory, but let's keep kids in sport. The numbers are. dropping at
Everyone's
a
behind in
significant
PlayStation
rate.
now, or
PlayStation, and it's amazing. Like as I said, with my little one, she knows how to work my phone. She's 2.5. So we're kids like, how does that happen?
That's frightening.
we had an Atari.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
was it.
Mate, I had those things that you put the discs in, the cassettes in.
Yeah, that's right. But where's the ball on the string type, the racket ball?
That's it.
The ball in the stocking. It's nowhere to be seen now, which is a little bit disturbing. But
I still remember going into I don't know if you've played cricket in Sri Lanka.
Yep.
To Mount Lavinia Beach, and one morning the West Indies cricket team was actually playing beach cricket there. I played cricket with with the West Indies cricket
That's
team.
what the best of the world as well.
I sent Linny a photo of myself last week of playing cricket on the street back when I was growing up, asking him for some form tips, and there's probably one of the reasons I'm sitting here doing this and not part of the T20, but it just brought back those memories. And now when you drive around on the street, I can't remember the last time I saw kids out playing on the street, and that was what we did every afternoon.
That's right, until the street lights come on. That was the rules, right? Be home when the lights come on.
Yeah,
so.
For me, I was at the beach. I was there first thing in the morning, go training, and then I was at the beach.
It's getting fewer and further between seeing that, which is disappointing. But the Australian culture is very sport driven, right? You've got the rich history. That's one thing I'm passionate about. Is giving back to the community, to the grassroots where it all started for me. And
is this how Playbook started?
Yeah, basically.
Before we get to Playbook, like I want to get there. I want to see the evolution though. Tell us a bit about Chris Lynn, the young aspiring athlete. Like, how did you become Chris Lynn, the cricketer?
As I touched on, I was rugby league first, right? So I, played my juniors at North Devils Rugby League. My first coach was Tommy Bishop, who's an England great.
What position did you play in the league?
I was a halfback. Yeah, so I played schoolboys.
How old was this? Before Little Athletics or before? Everyone seems to go through Little Athletics.
When you're 7 or 8. I didn't do Little Athletics. I only got short legs, so it wasn't my thing. But was fortunate enough to play schoolboys rugby league with Benny Hunt, Andrew McCulloch, and James O'Connor, who played a heap for the Wallabies. And as I touched on earlier, I believe I can hit the ball hard through cross-code training. Most people max out in the gym every 6 to 8 weeks, right? When you play footy, rugby league, rugby union, you're tackling 200 times a week. You're maxing out 200 times a week. And you see the league boys, their chests are out here, they're stronger. They got, big ass from that, ground up strength training. And that's why I reckon I can hit the ball harder than a lot of other cricketers. So, that was my background growing up. Dad played water polo for Australia, so I was basically I was thrown in the pool, sink or swim type attitude, and I don't regret him throwing me in the pool at all, because one, it's a life skill, and swimming, your core strength and the fitness that you get out of it, it's a lot easier on your body, on your joints and whatnot. So, and then through the grades, 15, 16, you make rep teams, and basically I was getting to grade 11, grade 12, and I was just scared to go into the workforce, scared to walk into uni. I remember Mum bought me a $5,000 uni package. I can't even remember what it was called, some sport, whatever it was called. I read one page. I worked out how to pay Mum $5,000. I said, don't let me do this again. Basically, I'll stick to hitting cricket balls, and away I went.
So when did you realize that's what you're good at? Like back home in Sri Lanka, that you're born and you're given a ball and a bat.
Yeah,
it's a religion for you. Is what you're trying to say.
At birth, you're given a ball and a bat if you can't make it.
I suppose you do the representative stuff, and then there's opportunities. I went to England, so straight out of school, played in England, played club cricket over there for 6 months, and come back and got my first contract. Had to worked in a car yard. I was a dish pig for a couple of weeks here and there, and as I said, that thought of going into the workforce scared the shit out of me. And then I put the head down, and I always knew I had the talent, but I didn't know what that looked like in the modern game of cricket back then when I was 19. So
do you think the fear was driving you more? I really don't want to go into the corporate world.
A little bit. Plus, you look up to like your Haydens, your Langes, your Steve Walls, your Ricky Pontings, your Brett Lees, Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne. Like that era of cricket was like, holy shit, they're good. Like the best in the world. So every day in the backyard. I was very fortunate. My old man built a cricket net down the side of my house as well, of his house.
You just gave me goosies because I remember literally lying on the couch for days upon days watching Test cricket, which doesn't happen anymore. But that's what we did when we were young.
Gabba Test, first Test. That was one of the best days of the year. And it rolls into the Boxing Day Test. And now you just, because there's so much cricket, you're a bit like, oh, if I miss tonight, it's always
I think we love the strategy as well. There's always this strategic, like some of the captains.
Yeah.
You just look at
cat and mouse,
what they're doing. It was just like absolutely amazing, right? So
it was McGrath. McGrath just it's the strategic on what am I going to do in this test, in this game, and the helm bowling.
Warney was like that too.
A quick fun fact about Glenn McGrath: he can name every wicket that he took. He took 500 or 600 wickets. He can name exactly what. Like if you asked him 122,
Rain Man.
Yeah, wow.
That's a crazy
pretty
thing.
impressive.
Yeah,
We'll bring him on and put him to the test.
Pretty impressive. Yeah, he's now a Queenslander. Glenn McGrath lives up on the Sunshine Coast. The great man.
Do you think the long form game is done? It's gone?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think the one-day game is gone. I think I personally think international T20 cricket won't last because franchise cricket will take over, and then they'll just bring in the World Cup.
Maybe just elaborate on that. What's franchise cricket?
Franchise cricket, so it's an option I took basically. So you get to play T20 cricket, T10 cricket around the world. For example, the IPL teams like Mumbai and Kolkata own teams in Dubai, in the Caribbean, and now in England. So
in the US as
it's
well?
basically in the US, and there's private ownerships. There's a lot of people that love cricket that we don't know about. Yes, obviously India is the backer, but in America there's so much money and so much love for the game and cricket. And
this is because regular outside of sports are investing into the sport because they see the opportunity from an investment perspective.
Absolutely,
right?
Especially in I got to be able to play cricket in Canada, and the fields there, they can't fill the baseball fields, but they're screaming out for more cricket fields. It's amazing. So that's the growth in the game, and people from a business point of view, who doesn't love growth in business?
Yeah, you don't want to lose those stories with, you look at the Donald Bradman wearing the baggy green, that's aspiration. Yeah. That's what brings kids into cricket.
I don't think Test cricket will ever die, but I'd just like to see I don't want to see the model of Test cricket change. We're seeing guys like Sam Constas come in, play all these reverse sweeps, and that looks good for 15 minutes, but is there a longevity in that? Like the Bazball in England, they're going out there scoring 400 or 500 in a day. Is there longevity in that? Look, I hope so, because it's entertaining, and it guys and females and kids that don't have the attention span or the love for cricket, we're about introducing new faces to the game. So I just don't want it to be this little flashbang.
I don't know about you. I love the way Tendulkar or Brian Lara played. Like they took their time. There was strategy in the game.
They invested into the game.
Correct. You could
guys
see.
like Usman Khawaja, still that old school.
Yeah.
There's roles for that.
I will say though, based on like that, I guess the long form disappearing, I hadn't watched Test cricket properly in a very long time. But this last Christmas Test was insanely epic. Yeah. I absolutely was glued to my screen.
Yeah, that's right.
This whatever, maybe you can elaborate on this. Like whatever happened to make that again, that feeling that I had 20 years ago was awesome.
I think a bit of rivalry, Australia and India. Virat Kohli's got a bit of mongrel about him. We've got this new kid on the block that's no one's seen, and he's reversing the best bowler in the world for 6 in the second over of the Test match. It's awesome, right? But you got to live by the sword, you got to die by the sword as well. So it's going to be extremely hard to be consistent in that space. Everyone loves consistency. Selectors love consistency. I'm not the most consistent batter, but as I said, you got to live by the sword, die by the sword, and when you do come off, it's box office. Right?
This is because they're bringing like the T20 type of style into a Test match. Some of those variations throughout the series, and that kind of what makes it exciting.
Yeah, definitely, and the ebbs and flows, and we've got day and night Test cricket now, which is even better, I believe, because when you get to that twilight stage, the ball gets a bit harder to see, and the ball swings around corners, and it's good viewing.
I mean, I remember when it was all changing, the controversy of the changing the color of the ball.
That's right.
People liked it, so half the people didn't like it. There was
what I said right at the start, we're cricketers, but we're entertainers, and that entertaining business is paying the players, so let's entertain.
I think the old school way of looking at it, it's a gentleman's sport. We're not here to entertain. We're here to just. It's a strategy game, right?
Yeah.
I grew up watching that strategy game where entertainment was, even when there was entertainment, you would say,
Yeah, well, that's right. Like the incentive from the chairman of Queensland Cricket a few years ago was just to entertain, and we were entertaining, but we were losing. I was like, mate, well, let's just win ugly. That's all I care about is the trophies.
Does that translate back into grassroots? So do you think the grassroots Test cricket, because like you pointed out, it's great. I think the kids love going along to the T10, the T20 matches. But with that Test cricket, do you think that it's still like schoolboy and at Shield level, it's still strong to be able to get it to continue?
I don't think it's as strong as what it once was, simply because we had a perfect example the other day with Usman Khawaja missing the game. If that was back in Alan Border's day or whatever, that wouldn't even been an option. Like they would have been there from the last game, the next flight. If it was a club game, AB would have played. So I know there's a lot more cricket now, but I feel like the emphasis on state cricket is not as high for the players coming back from Australia or the players coming back from Queensland to club cricket and vice versa. So
speaking of Queensland state cricket, the boys didn't go too well today.
No, the boys just been bundled out for 95, which is not ideal, but it is a 5-day game.
Yep.
It could be. I have seen the wickets. It is nipping around a little bit. What I do know is the Queensland boys will fight.
Yep, 100%.
That's a maroon cap. You put that on. We will fight. We've got a great record against South Australia, so fingers crossed. But in saying that, one of my best mates, Ryan Harris, is the South Australian cricket coach, and I love the bloke. Can't say a bad word about him. They've won the one-day title already, so I wouldn't be too disappointed if he wins a Shield final.
Mate, talking about Sheffield Shield, right? How did you go from someone who hits 200 runs in a Sheffield Shield to becoming one of the best in the T20 and then not in the Test teams?
Yeah, so I had a double shoulder reconstruction basically. So and I'm left-handed, naturally left-handed, and then had a double recon. And then I taught myself to throw right-handed, and then I'd tuck this one in. We're playing in New Zealand. Tuck this one in, and I dove my right side out.
When was this?
I just taught myself to throw right-handed 6-7 years ago, and I was playing for Australia at the time, and my shoulders were just busted. So a big thing for me is
you can't bat too well without shoulders.
Yeah, that's right. Big thing for me is if I had a big day in the field or a big day batting, I couldn't lift my arm. So the most disappointing thing would be letting down your teammates, playing days 1 and 2 and days 3 and 4, not being able to lift it up. So that played a big role. And I knew in T20 cricket I could play for 3 hours, have a day off and get up again. And also that entertainment factor. I love smacking the ball out of the park. There was one season where we lost the toss and fielded every day of the Sheffield Shield game. And I was like, oh, man, this sucks.
Where did you field?
I was in the slips for a bit. I was a bit everywhere, mid-on, mid-off, point. Yeah, you feel that many overs. You tend to go around the park a bit.
But with your shoulders, you weren't on the fence?
No, not then. I would just go short, fine leg or whatever it may be. But what probably summed it up, I think I was on like 87, day 2 of Sheffield Shield game. And I could have scored the easiest 100 because they had everyone on the fence. I thought, this is 3 shots, 100. And I got caught on the fence. They had everyone on the fence. I was like, I think that's my time in this. I'm disrespecting the badge. I'm disrespecting the long format of the game. I absolutely loved batting during.
Essentially, you got bored.
Or did the injury force you out of that?
From parts of it, but my heart wasn't in it towards the back end.
So psychologically, how did you deal with that, and how did you adapt and make the decision? Okay, this is where I'm going to be. Because lots of people would have either given up or tried to find something else.
I just always knew I could always drive more than I let through.
Yeah.
And I struggle to dive now. So that's why I do hide field. And it does hurt because you're so competitive. And at training, you're like, I just feel short for leg. I don't need to do.
Hold on. Like for someone who hates fielding and all these problems. I've seen some of the catches you have made.
Yeah.
They're some of the best entertaining stuff.
Yeah, I've got a couple of highlight packages of fielding.
So what's the deal with that? Like you put your body on the line.
I suppose I was just sick of because that's how I had my double shoulder. It was fielding, it was diving, shoulder would pop out, and I was actually like, one, the pain, and two, the rehab to go through it. That nearly killed me. Like you're sitting in there on a recliner, you can't sleep. Like if you cough, like you're in so much agony. So I just couldn't bear going through three to four shoulder recons. I thought I haven't had enough, and I limit myself to what I can do in the field. There's a new rule now in T20 and T10 where there's an impact player, so at the 20 over mark you can get subbed out and a bowler comes in. Greatest rule ever. Hope they bring it in the big bash. But yeah, it's just and that's what I was saying. It hurts me because you're so competitive at training. You want to be the best. But then you get into slowly lazier habits when you can't field or do those little 1%ers.
So your batting is still not affected by it, but everything else.
The batting was a little bit. I was actually batting with like a seatbelt type shoulder thing, a bit like Jonathan Thurston had on when he was playing. So basically, you could tighten the seatbelt up, and if I wanted to get to there, I could get it. Or if it was lower, I'd make it tighter, just to make sure I had that nice stability in there. But look, it's okay now.
Yeah, I've guessed like some of those catches. I'm going back to it because I saw there was one where I don't know which one that was. I think that's the one.
Yeah,
AB de Villiers one.
Yeah, there was one. It was my first game for the Kolkata Knight Riders, and to go back even further, I got to bat with Jas Callis.
That went crazy. I remember that one.
Yeah, and then took this catch on the boundary, and I slipped over because it was so dewy in Sharjah, and it went in the lights. I was like, oh, this is my first and last game. And then I sort of jumped off my knees and held myself in from the boundary, and that's sort of like one of those box office moments, and sort of put you on the map a little bit as well. But yeah, they're those moments you look back on and you go, oh, that's pretty cool. And how the hell did I do that type thing? So
you just ignored that you're going to have pain when you landed. You're like, I'm going to ignore this pain and just go for it.
Yeah, that was before I had one recon then, so I still thought I was able to. But after the third and fourth one, I was like, nah, I'm not diving. Like it's too hard. If you have another shoulder recon, that's curtains. That's sort of game over for me. But fortunately enough, still in the park, still hungry and ever. And it's for all you batters out there, don't hit it towards me.
Before we move on, how many seasons do you think you are aiming to go for? Because back in the day, it was like you get to 35 years old. That's essentially that's an athlete, right? Yeah. And then you have to transition to corporate, which you really don't want to go towards. What's that transition look like?
It changes every day. Honestly, some days I absolutely hate it. Some days I absolutely love it. But the good days outweigh the bad days. I'm big on just signing 1-year deals, especially this point in my career, just because you never know what's around the corner. But it keeps me on my toes as well. It keeps me hungry, motivated. What I do love is these young guys coming through, seeing Josh Brown, Fraser McGurk. It's like, who's going to hit the most sixes out of those two? It's like, come on, that's my challenge. It's like hold my beer type thing. I'm going to go hit more or double or whatever. So the younger boys keep you on your toes, and I feel like I've been a big part of the Big Bash, a decent blueprint of it. So I'm not going to give up my spot that easy because I've worked so hard to get where I've got to.
Because you're the highest run scorer in the Big Bash, aren't you?
Yeah,
over 3,000.
I'd like to keep extending that. I think I'm not too far off.
You want to be the LeBron James of cricket, right?
Yeah, hopefully with a better rap sheet. But yeah, that, and I want to keep, smacking sixes and extending my lead there as well.
Yeah, talking about sixes, how many sixes did you hit in a row? There was an insane innings that you had. I remember it, but I can't remember.
Yeah, there was one game in the MCG. I hit 5 in a row, and a bit of backstory. First ball, it was a freezing night in Melbourne. The first ball actually kicked up off a length off Ben Hilfenhaus. I thought, shit, this is like this ball's got my number on it. Like the pitch is playing up a little bit, and I just went bang and bang, and I was like, well, why stop now? I'll keep going. But
one of the biggest grounds in the world, you decide to hit the most sixes on.
That's what
is it actually? No.
Yeah.
That's going back to like your muscle memory and what your sports psych can help do. It's a bit like Rafa Nadal. He does the same movements, whether it's in the first set or the fifth set. So that's one of the strengths that you can do. And talk about breathing, visualizing. After every ball, I'd like to just take a nice deep breath, away from the crease. A lot of people like to go down and tap the wicket, whereas I like to stand there and visualize around and use my cricket IQ and your awareness where the ball's going and what the movements of the bowler are doing. And again, you slow your heart rate down, when you're in a decent place, when your heart rate's down rather than your eyes spinning when you run out. So you got that clarity. I was massive on that, and I still am.
Love that.
You prefer to face spin bowling or fast bowling?
Pace on. Yeah, pace on. Sometimes you don't know which way the ball's going. With the spinners now, they've got fast arm actions, arm and legs are going everywhere. Rashid Khan's the best in the world. Sonny on Orion, Murali. That game that I took the catch against RCB, I faced Murali twice before that. First time he got me out first ball. Second time he got me out second ball. I was like, shit, I better work out this sweep shot. And the first ball, the third time I faced him, his head was still on the big screen. It went bang straight between the eyes and sort of rolled back to him in Sharjah. And it's all about playing the ball, not the man. You talk about that mental game in sport or whatever it may be. As a youngster, sometimes I played the player and his legacy rather than just the ball or what's in front of you.
Mate, talking about Murali,
Sri Lankan, king.
Which side of the fence are you on, Daryl Hare? Or
I knew this was coming. No, Murali's a good friend.
You can pass.
No, you can't.
He's got a lot of test wickets. You know what? It'd be interesting now to see with a lot more players have been pulled up, right, for chucking. So it just with technology now, it'd just be interesting to see. I don't believe it's not an orthodox action, but he's got different flexibility in his wrists and his elbow.
We did all the scans, right? There was X-rays, there's everything. So
and with AI,
what was the conclusion?
He wasn't a shot.
He wasn't. No.
He wasn't.
That's why he's the best in the world.
His records still stand. He's Shane won Murali. It's
But I tell you what, when he bowled it, you could hear this like fizz coming down. It was like, oh my God, which way is it going? And like I thought it was going that way. It was going that way. But you're trying to pick which way it's going, left or right. But then when he bowled a top spinner, you thought it was going to like hit you on the full and it'd just drop. I was like, this guy's an absolute genius. Like, but yeah, just a great component of the game.
I reckon it's really good for the game, though, isn't it? Having a bit of controversy,
rivalry, and got us. I think you need a bit of rivalry, right? If you want entertainment, there's always got to be a hero and a villain.
Yeah.
He was the villain,
and someone to challenge the big nations of cricket too. And you guys.
1996. We keep going back to 1996.
Long time ago. I was 6 years old.
Way too long.
It is way too long. We'll be back. We'll be back. But
you're an Aussie now, bro.
Yeah, but I was born in Sri Lanka, mate. So that blood still runs through.
And how are they going? The mighty Sri Lankan cricket team, they're going to go okay this year?
So, Chris, we're talking about mighty Sri Lankans are making their way back. So
beautiful country, Sri Lanka. Absolutely love it.
It is. It is a beautiful place. So, mate, what made you – so you gave up first class and decided to stick with franchise cricket, right, mainly. Why did you do that? What was the
obviously the body, what we just touched on, that was a big factor. But a big thing for me is making that decision and make sure you stick with it, because if you have a run of outs in 2 or 3 tournaments in a row and then you go back to Sheffield Shield or one day cricket for Queensland, people just see right through you. So that's one thing I am proud of, is just sticking with my decision and not toing and froing back and forth again, because you just lose your authenticity, I believe, and I feel like I could make a really good trademark in T20 cricket, and the opportunities now in franchise cricket is ridiculous. It was just fun. You travel in the world, try and hit sixes.
Tell us a bit about the franchise. I think you've played in almost every franchise, every single one of them.
I played in nearly every tournament around the world.
Yeah.
Any favourites?
Oh, look, everyone's got their pros and cons. You're playing in the Caribbean Premier League. You got Trinidad, Barbados, some of the best beaches in the world, best golf courses in the world. You've got India,
We're talking about cricket, right?
Yeah, well, that's
We just love travelling to these places.
For 3 hours. What do you reckon you do on the other 21 hours of the day?
That's it.
But now we're going to places like Dallas, Toronto, Cayman Islands in May coming up. These places are where we want to grow the game. Yeah, you don't need, well, India's obviously there, but you don't need to grow the game. It's already naturally, organically grows because they're the powerhouse. So that our job now is, and my job's always been to grow the game and bring these new faces into the sport. England's massive. A good day in London, pretty special. The only place I haven't played cricket is actually South Africa.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, interesting.
Never. So you've never
went
played
on a rugby tour there for school, but never played cricket there. I've been to New Zealand once, and that's on our doorstep. But yeah, it's some lonely times as well. It's not just bells and whistles. Because
I was going to ask, how does that affect your personal life and also your family life?
Yeah,
right?
so the family will come over the odd tournament, but you're on the other side of the world. If you're in the Caribbean, and by the time your family gets there, like halfway through the tournament, it's not fair on them. So, but you're there for a job. You have a bit of fun along the way. If they can come, that's great. If not, you just pretty lucky with Zoom and FaceTime and try and utilise that. It is a bit tough to get up in the morning or remember to FaceTime at night or stay up later with the time differences, but that's the way it goes.
Do you think America, is that where the growth is going to be in the game in the next 10 years?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll actually catch baseball, but as we spoke about, the money that's in America, who wouldn't want to go to America, right? The way they do sport, it's just next level. I was fortunate enough to go to LA and Vegas last year, and the Big Bash is trying to emulate that. It's not just about the product on the field; it's actually the fireworks, the music, the mascots, the
hype.
It's entertainment.
The hype, yeah. It's different. Like, and that's why you see him in blokes like in LeBron's contract, he has to play unless he's injured. There's no resting players because people are coming from all around the globe to watch this entertainment, which is pretty cool. And it's not cheap over there, but you get a beer here that's $15-$20 as well.
Same. You mentioned before around as a kid the transition with, like, say, a baseball bat and being able to hit the ball with a golf, or playing golf. Because baseball is so big in the US, there's no reason there can't be a transition of those athletes, especially the junior athletes, coming and transitioning from baseball into cricket.
I think there will be at some point, but I've tried it and it's bloody hard. First of all, I've got my bat. That's your stance in cricket. If you're getting a baseball thrown generally here, see my bat is coming on an upwards angle. It's a bit like when you top a golf ball, topspin, it just top spins and goes nowhere. So you've actually got to get your hands up this high to coming down and meeting the ball. So then it planes, and the position from there to there is uncomfortable, and there's a massive difference. So yeah, that alone is a very, very hard skill in itself.
Telling an American to play cricket instead of baseball, there's a huge cultural element there too.
And cricket's the hardest game to explain as well.
Yeah,
it gives me the shits to explain it to people in America. But,
so I was talking to someone and they thought I was talking about a lighter. I didn't even know there's a lighter called cricket.
Yeah,
it's like,
how do you catch without gloves? Without a mitt? It's like, you just go
it's the same as the push with NRL into Vegas, right? And they're like, how can you run and carry a ball without any helmet? Like,
helmets, yeah. We do it. We're built different here.
But the thing is, you don't need any of that. They know how well to do sport. Just bring any sport there.
That's right.
They add the entertainment.
And don't get me wrong, it is growing, like I said, but it's going to take a long, long time.
One thing I do notice, when it's a basketball or whether it's a baseball, and I know the ice hockey is the same, they'll play 3 or 4 games every week for 26 weeks. So the volume that they get in, and there's games played on a Tuesday night or a Thursday night, and they're a sellout. Whereas you look here, the games that we have on, most of them are on a Friday night or a Saturday night.
We have 24 million people there. They got 350 odd million people.
But
and
do you think
infrastructure built around to support that?
Yeah.
I think that's.
But it supports T20 cricket though, because you're able to play a game, like you said, have a day of rest, and then you'll play a game.
Right. Definitely.
And that's what I said.
Yeah.
You take to America, they've got that infrastructure, they've got the entertainment.
I'll happily play 3 times a week for 50 million. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
What about the pitch?
And
Like, what do they
that's-
do
yeah,
for a
that's
pitch over there?
there's a couple of cricket stadiums that the wickets are in. There's full-time groundsmen. I'm mates with one of them. He's from Adelaide. Hey, mate, the facility's really, really good.
So purpose-built cricket stadiums.
Purpose-built, yeah. But they had the World Cup there last year, didn't they?
Yeah, well, yeah, okay.
So, yeah.
I thought they were just hybrid. They just put, so these are proper.
No, they drop them in, yep. I played in a smaller tournament in Dallas of Texas University. Like just a cool little ground. The wicket wasn't great, but it's going to take a couple of years for it to embed and flatten out properly. But they're just learning. Imagine
Once it's
a new sport.
Yeah.
Like you said with rugby league, they got no idea, so they'd be learning as well. But talk about.
Is India driving this? Like, where's this coming from to drive into the US?
It started with the IPL, right?
Yeah, India's definitely driving it, like the Mumbai Indians, Kolkata Knight Riders. You think we've got a lot of Indians here? Think again because they've got 350 million people over there. So naturally scalable, massive numbers. But people in America love betting too. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's the other side.
And they can bet on anything.
So if there's, ball by ball, like baseball, you can bet on anything. That's going to attract numbers.
Yeah, cricket's got a lot of elements
right.
you can bet on. So going back to the Mumbai Indians you were talking about, I saw in the statistics you played one game.
One game, that was it. Well, Quinton de Kock didn't arrive or was in COVID quarantine, so I got the nod, and I got 49, but I ran out Rohit Sharma. I was like, I need to get 150 here. I ran out the skipper and didn't play again. Simple. But that's a story I tell. But Quinton de Kock was coming back in anyway.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
The nature of Mumbai Indians is generally they're pretty good, right? They've got
Which year was that?
I'm going to say 4 or 5 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 years ago now. Great franchise. One of the most professional franchise. We'd win games and you'd end up with iPads on your bed type thing. And not short of wealth, the Ambani family, but a great family. And
how do you
very
manage
successful.
The IPL? And were you playing Big Bash at the same time? Or?
Yeah. The IPL is this time of the year. It's in April.
Yeah. So
March, April, and then
Big
Big Bash is not until December. Or I go from the Big Bash, basically, finish the Sheffield Shield season or whatever cricket I was playing, and then roll into IPL.
Are you in IPL this year again?
No IPL. I actually haven't been involved the last 3 to 4 years, I reckon. And you know what? As an overseas player, there's 8 slots, but only 4 get to play. Generally, you've got to do 2 things: bat, bowl, or field. Yeah, so I only really do one dimensions. But I've had 10 years of the IPL, so I'm really grateful for that.
Oh, mate, you became a superstar with one catch.
Yeah. Kolkata Knight Riders I was 6 years at Kolkata and played probably 30, 40 games there and had a good record and had some fun. I remember one game with Sunil Naran. We opened the batting in Bangalore and we ended up 104 off the power play, off the 6 overs. And we had so much fun and won a title with them, won a title with Mumbai. It's been awesome. Wolf picked me up for 20 grand when I was 20 years old for the Deccan Chargers. That's where my journey started at the IPL.
Oh, yeah, you had one season with them.
Yeah, it was Kumar Sanka, Cameron White, Dale Stain, JP Duminy.
What an investment.
Yeah.
It's a good opportunity.
It was awesome. Time of life.
20-year-old kid.
And I was there for 2 years, only played one game. I was like, it wasn't about that. It was about being a sponge around, the greats of the game.
2018, 2019, right, you were probably the best, best record.
Probably, or was?
Well, you were, right? You had the leading score. Most amount of sixes, but didn't make the World Cup team.
Yeah. There's a bit of I was pretty pissed off. I think the World Cup was in Bangladesh or India, maybe. I can't remember. But yeah, I was pretty new on the scene then, but I thought I did enough. But they went down. I'm going to say they went down to Brad Hodge, the older option, just because it was in the subcontinent, and I didn't really. I'm not sure if I dominated in the IPL then.
But you did dominate the Big Bash, right?
Yeah, I can't remember the timeline, but I think it was just where the location was, because cricket in the Big Bash in Australia is vastly different to IPL cricket in the where or in India or in the Caribbean on different wickets. So I think they just went for an experience number, which I'm okay with.
Which I guess these days with technology and data and statistics, we'll be able to pull that data together on different pitches, different locations, and go who's the best player in that particular situation.
Definitely. And it's quite interesting when you go to like the IPL auction, they'll pick guys from the Big Bash that have never played in India and they bet they go for big money. Then they get to India and they struggle. It's hard to watch.
And that six.
I knew that was coming.
I don't know what went through your head. And
it's a wild thing, right? They call him the wild thing for a reason. He hasn't.
My days. Even the wild thing's going well. I can't do much about that.
Reason he doesn't exactly know where they're going. So how am I supposed to know? But big Sean Tate's steaming in. And Tate's one of great mate of mine. He's a gentleman on the field, but he bowled absolute gas. It was so fast, and I just knew if I don't hit it, it's going to hit me. It's going to bloody hurt. So I got this big chunk of wheel in my hand, and generally bowlers like to hit the top of off stump first ball, and his eyes are half closed and swing hard. And I actually thought I hit it straight up in the air, but then you just see it sort of just sailing and sailing. But yeah, again, it's one of those moments you talk about, but like that catch, and it's just one of those cool things that you look back on. And unfortunately, there's a few more years left at the Gabba, but after that, it could be the last time the ball's been out of the Gabba.
You reckon that's the biggest six that's ever been hit?
Well, there's two other ones that have gone out of the Gabba, Dan Christian and Brett Lees. And, it's up for debate who's the biggest. I personally think I've hit the biggest, but I think there's two other opinions that say theirs are as well.
What about internationally? What's the biggest six that you think you've seen hit overseas?
Oh, overseas. I've seen Chris Gale hit some monsters, Corin Pollard as well, and Andre Russell. The West Indians, big, long levers. If I was that big, I reckon hit it just as far. But they're just different beasts. They've got these fast twitch fibers, and it's so effortless. But it's probably a training actually, because they're just the net bowlers are coming in, and they're just pongo on them, and they're going absolutely miles, and you just think, wow. But the funny thing is they can translate that into a game, because they're so relaxed and carefree. It's so cool to watch.
How does it compare? I just thought we mentioned baseball before. How far are you hitting a cricket ball compared to some of their? Because there's some big boys that hit those baseballs, and how far are they hitting the baseballs in compared to how far you're hitting the cricket ball?
Most of the boundaries of home runs are about 100 metres, I'm going to say, in baseball in the major league. And to hit 100 metre six, that's a decent whack in cricket. I reckon the one I hit Tatey for was about 140. It registered about
144 or something.
I reckon it registered about 120 odd.
Yeah.
But that Fox measurement's a bit of a guess.
Yeah.
They always complain about it on the commentary.
Yeah, it was more like I saw 144 somewhere.
I know how it works, but I won't give it away. But they're a little bit fudged here and there. But the baseballs do hit it further. The ball's got four seams and it can plane a bit more. And but in cricket we can hit the ball 360 degrees. Obviously, our biggest ones are generally square of the wicket, where you can use the pace of the ball coming at you, top of the bounce. Whereas theirs are generally against the grain, so it's just pretty impressive.
I was gonna say, it's like the ball coming the same speed, cricket and baseball.
Yeah, close to it. Like 100 mile an hour pitch is Jeff Thompson, 160 kilometres. No one's really hit that for probably 10 years now, but 150 is still pretty quick. But that's around a pitcher as well.
When there's a bowler pitching that fast, and now I'm asking questions on the cricket still. I'm curious. The speed, when there's a fast ball coming at you, and you love hitting fast bowls, you said before, what speed do you think is okay, I've got to prepare myself for this one because I know this is going to come faster than I'm used to hitting?
Above 140. I reckon, or 145. When a bloke has got the ability to go up a gear and get it round here, or blow your toe off, that's when you've got to nearly even premeditate your swing.
When does it become too dangerous though? We've seen the other side.
Well, I got hit flush in the head this year in the Big Bash, and I suppose that's the challenge of professional cricket to club cricket. It's always going to be dangerous, but the best can find a way and adapt.
I think you got to adapt, but you pointed out, like, you played rugby league in those early years, and you know the knocks that you're getting to the head without you. At least you got a helmet on in cricket, I suppose.
Yeah, it's just a different fear. You know, I've spoken to guys like Petro, Simon Steve, Shane Webke, Gordon Tallis. They would much rather tackle, you know, a big Jordan Malata or someone of their caliber than face Brett Lee. You know, whereas I'm doing the opposite any day of the week. Everyone's got their own method to their madness. Some like catching big waves, Some people are wired differently. But that's the mental and physical strength of it.
Yeah.
Playbook. Tell us about that. How did it start?
Well, through the double shoulder recon, I was sitting there going, what opportunities have I been given and what's made me made a difference in my career? And I believe that extra quality mentoring and quality coaching. Not every kid has the same ability to be coached by the Jimmy Mars of the world, the Australian players. So how could I give back and create that? But not only in cricket, in all sports. So if I'm going to narrow it down, it's like Uber for sports coaches. You type in your location and your sport, and the coaches that are signed up all pop up, and we do our due diligence with every coach. It's a working with children's card, which is very important. We do a police check, just basically making sure the parents got the peace of mind of dropping off their kids at their venue of choice, with a background and peace, as I said, peace of mind that it's going to be a quality session. And then like your Uber, you've got a feedback rating. And I just feel like we're professionalising private coaching. Everyone loves cash, but if you can just keep up to speed with the modern world. And again, we send coaches out to country areas that don't get the same opportunities, and just accessibility. I found that I keep referring back to guys like Alan Border, but that era they were always accessible at whatever level it was. Players now aren't, and I'm just giving that again the same opportunity.
What's changed, do you think?
They're just more protected, aren't they? There's a lot more hurdles. There's camera phones. There's everything.
Media agencies. There's blocked by. Yeah.
And their image is a lot more valuable than what they used to be.
That's
no one
right.
got paid.
Yeah, I mean,
kind of money.
There's red flags. There's legislations. There's you can do's, can't do's. There's sponsors. So players of Olympic level are not untouchable, but harder to get to. But also,
everything they say and do are criticised and watched.
That's right. And some people like hiding, and that's fair enough. But some people love coaching. This is an avenue to give back to their sport, and for me, it's rewarding. The best session I ever did was this kid was non-verbal, and when I say non-verbal, he still spoke, but was very shy. So on a Zoom during COVID, he would ask his brother the question, and it's half-hour Zoom. After 27 minutes, he then spoke to me. I was like, how cool is that? The mum's in the background, like, crying because she spent money on therapists and whatnot, but just the power of what athletes can do was so satisfying. I'm like, now he goes to Big Bash games, he's got signs. It's so epic.
That's cool.
So we're not all about, yes, you can play for Australia if you want to, or you might want to go from wing to 5'8", move up the batting order, or you just want the confidence to play a team sport. Like, because if you got confidence, you can just do whatever you want. It might be guest speaking, it might be doing a podcast, it might be just.
So how does it work? How does your app work for an athlete? How does it work for a aspiring athlete, or it doesn't even need to be an athlete, right? If someone wants to have a session,
you've got a body, you're an athlete, right? So you might just want to, as I said, you might just want to play third grade, or your dad might be FIFO, fly in, fly out, and he can't throw balls to his kid, so it's a perfect opportunity to jump on Playbook, type in kangaroo point and cricket, and all these coaches will come up, and the price, the coaches name their own price, time, location. So, for example, I'm a bit more on the expensive side. And
why's that?
Because I like money.
Fair enough. That's a great point.
Great answer.
No, because obviously your times.
Yeah.
But there's guys out there that might charge $30 or $40 an hour because they actually just love the game. And I don't want to do a lot of sessions, so you do take a lot of the audience out. But we've got guys like Adam Shalor from AFL who are cheaper again, but love coaching. And he takes a great sense of reward from that. Dane Zorko from the Brisbane Lions loves coaching once a week because he played well one game after doing a playbook session with a young kid. So he felt like he had to do that in his routine. So everyone's got different aspects, and as I said, you're wired.
Motivation for how you do it is different, right?
Absolutely.
Like you're still.
Have you gone? What I'm interested in is have you gone with these retirees that are wanting to give back or in some form, but the coaching is not for them. So what I've heard from Olympians or ex-Olympians or athletes that have made it, they feel like they've done their, I guess, give back to the sport, to the industry, and then 20 years later they go, well, people want me, but I just don't want to do it. Like, do you hear this? Like, is there a thing that comes about that, like, at some point you go, well, it's just not, I can't physically give anymore?
A little bit, but generally they've got a passion in something else. So where we find we get guys like that want to, just make it a little bit more extra cash. So from a selfish point of view, yes, it's giving back, but it's helping them transition out of the game. Or if it's a young kid coming through that's trying to make it for the Queensland Bulls and study, how can he just make a few extra bucks every week? Netball's our biggest sport on the platform because the females don't get paid as much as the males generally in sport. They love coaching because it just feeds them an extra few dollars and they don't have to get a full-time job or whatever it may be. So,
kind of like a freelance role.
Yeah, it is.
So it doesn't have to be, where my mind goes, it doesn't have to be like the people who are like the best of the best and they're 50 or 60 years old now trying to give back. Could be a young generation. Yeah,
you could just be a third grade guy that absolutely loves cricket and you go down to train at Toombul Cricket Club. You know what, I'm going to open my calendar for 45 minutes before training. Who wants me to throw balls? And he's getting rewarded for that, and he's giving back to the game.
So this is not just online.
It's one-on-one, small groups, team
together,
sessions.
so you can set up anything.
So Trevor Gilmeister does a lot of tackling sessions for us because safety is massive. And we've just started a thing called Playbook Connect, which is our white label product to get in clubs and schools, and basically keeps going back to growing the game, keeping kids in sport. Because all the boarders at Nudgee, once you finish grade 12, where do they go if they're not earning heaps of money or whatever, or they're studying? They can go back in individual coach or do a team at Nudgee, and this is just keeping them, one, in the school and two, in sport.
So all of the coaches and everyone can be on there, like anyone can be on there.
Any sport. Any sport that you don't have right now?
We've got 32 sports. We've got a scooter coach. We've got a lawn bowls coach.
Wow.
That's cool.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Got an ice hockey coach?
Oh, well, you know what? We actually do.
Is it Magnus Olsen?
I was going to say
another one.
Yeah.
He charges too much. But no, and you're not locked into contracts. When I'm in tournament, I just change my profile to online mentoring. So obviously, if I'm in Adelaide, if anyone wants to book me, it could be from Sydney, from Adelaide, from Brisbane, Dubai. Very simple product, but it's one that I'm proud of giving back to just not only the game of cricket, but the community.
Yeah, it's a great idea. Like when I was wanting to get back into track and field as a masters athlete, right, I couldn't find any coach that was willing to coach.
Yeah.
It took me a while, right? It was more like, especially in track and field, most of the coaches are looking for their meal ticket, right? They want the golden ticket. They want the next gold, right? And that's never going to be me. That's never going to be a masters athlete. Yeah. We don't. Most of masters athletes don't do it for the glory. Their motivation is very different. Yeah. Fortunately, I found went through like 3 or 4 different avenues and finally found the right coach and ended up being an absolutely amazing coach and a mentor to me as well. And 4 years on, I'm not with that coach anymore, but that gave me the transition.
Yeah.
But that journey was so hard. And I talked to a lot of masters athletes, and there's a lot of us, not just in track and field, but in every sport.
Yeah.
I think something like this is going to be really pivotal.
Fantastic initiative.
Letting them figure out how to get back in.
Yeah. And
the biggest barrier is how do you get back in? Because when you're hitting 30, 40, hardest part is getting back in. And without some coaching, it's next to impossible.
Yeah. And the biggest thing is people think you have to be invited to be a coach. You don't have to. Like we're open to all ages, all abilities, all around Australia. So
we haven't got a certification to become a coach. is what you're saying.
You
There's
don't
no, there's
have
no
to-
criteria
as long
around
as
that.
you've got you're working with children's card, which is obviously very important. We'll do a police check on you as well.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so are
tick
there
all
any
those-
checks? Yeah.
Tick all those boxes. Yeah.
I want to get back into the business side of it. Right? Like, you're an elite athlete that was playing cricket. Like, how did you come up with this idea? And then how did you actually make it work and turn it into a business? What was that journey like?
How did I come up with it? I'm always thinking. Your brain's always thinking about the next business venture. I'm sure you guys think alike.
Have you tried any other ones before this, or is this your first one?
This is the first proper one. And
What are the ones that failed? I always
well,
love
no,
them.
well, like you're laying at night, or if you've had a few beers, you're like, I got a great business plan type thing. And
You wake up the next day, you're like, yeah, that's not
yeah,
good.
that's the worst idea ever type thing. But I suppose
Same as you would have had a few.
I was literally sitting in the pub with my business partner going, I think we're talking about Uber, and we're like, how can we translate that into coaching and give kids the same access that I did, that I got.
So how did you get a business partner?
Well, he was my first grade captain when I was 16, and basically I had a good year, and then the next year was horrible. And the first thing he did was drop me. I was like, oh, you bastard. And then the next year I was captain. What's the first thing I did? Dropped him.
Good on you.
But then when I turned professional, he's a financial planner by trade, and he said, do you want me to look after your portfolio? I was like, that's great, because when I'm on tour, I can just look after me. Cricket, number one, that's why I got to relearn how to put other people first. And then we just gain trust. Trust is few and far between now, and it's very important. So that's how we come up with Playbook. And a thing, like, we've been live for 5 years now, but people are only just starting to hear about us. And the thing is, there's been competitors out there, but after 12 months, they're gone. And it's so easy. Well, if it's easy, everyone would do it. So it hasn't been an easy journey. We're in our second capital raise now. We raised before our first raise, I chucked in a fair bit, and the tech company went bust, so I lost a truckload of money there. So could have easily just thrown in the towel, but I can see the future of this, where it can be, not only in Australia, but, go to New Zealand, go to England. So we're excited about it. But as I said, just because there's a few hurdles doesn't mean you throw it in. And that's what our competitors have done. And we think we've got a great product. And for me, it's my baby.
This is living your legacy, right? Like, this is how you can give back to the grassroots to get the next generation of cricketers, but any sport.
Yeah, that's right. And it's so simple as well. Like, people think to come up with an idea, it's got to be all this.
This is what I mean. In its at the base level, it's what everyone's looking for, right?
Yeah.
Like, making that giving that accessibility to someone else. That's what I touched on earlier when you talk about sports psychologists or performance coaches, right? Like, it's really hard to find them.
Yeah.
Is that something? Do you guys have? How many? Do you have any performance coaches on there? Or
We got a couple.
sports psychologists.
We got a couple. Not like big, well known, because not everyone's well known, but it's a space that is growing in Australia. Not just like our platform, but it's a space that a lot of people are diving into, because, you see TikToks, you see Instagram posts, and it's all about wellness and well-being and mindset and morning routine.
So you need more on there. Yeah, we are looking for more on there. Yeah.
So
A lot of people we talk to, like, the importance of the sports psychology, the sports psychologists. That's and as you said, they don't put their faces on billboards. So
It's the same as mental health in general, though. People don't talk about it enough.
Yeah.
It's the same conversation.
Yeah, I think, though, when you look at it from a grassroots perspective, sport's all about having fun. I think the psychology very much is some kids that need some help with it, but if you're just going out there and just having fun and you're moving, that's the most important thing, without getting too caught up with.
But then at elite level, the psychology is
100%,
important.
But that's to a certain extent, right? But the problem is, even in grassroots sports, every kid is striving to be elite, right? And only a certain amount of people make it. There's every year, there's 500 Australian athletes that will represent Australia, right? There's thousands of other kids that doesn't make it.
That want to, yeah.
So
you're saying this is the edge. The psychology part is the edge that will give you. You got to have the ability, absolutely, but this is the edge that will get you above.
But there's still plenty of kids out there, though, I think, when it comes to sport, that are just a Div 3 player and they're happy to be a Div 3 player.
Absolutely.
And they enjoy it. They come there with their mates. They may want to go and get a coach and get up to Div 2, but like yourself, you know, you might realise that you're not going to be elite, but a coach will still help.
I still need that support, right? There's going to be so many times. There's only so many times you can lose before you to keep it going.
You have a team coach. You might not necessarily agree with his coaching style, so you can go out and find an individual coach. You might have two. You know, you might have a bowling coach and you might have a batting coach. Like it's
man. I think it's important to anyone. Like you always think your coach is going to be the person. You always turn to the coach, but they don't. They might not always have the capability or the qualifications to do it.
Like so I've had the coach, my first coach since I was 16. Not my first coach, sorry, but Gavin Fitness is his name, and I've had him since I was 16.
Name Gavin Fitness.
Yeah, funny that. And like wherever I am in the world, he watches my games, and like a feedback won't be a 20-minute phone call. It might be a text with a couple of words, and I know, like in my hands or my head or whatever it may be, my thought process, he knows.
He knows you better than you know you.
That's right. So, and that's
good.
One of the reasons why we started, because that helped my journey. Just having that specific coach and mentor to look over you, and you know, it's a cool feeling to have someone by your side when he's not physically there, but they're watching from home.
In the last 5 years, what has been the biggest challenge with transitioning from being an athlete to now running a tech platform business, and what's been the biggest challenge in the business?
Probably keeping my cricket at that level, because obviously you've got a lifespan in cricket. Your lifespan in the business world can be forever, but how do I keep my body fit? You know, because you want to prioritize business meetings and your network to build that, but how do I stay on top of my game? How do I not go through flat periods? How do I juggle things?
Have you had to learn to say no to a lot of things?
That's been massive, and massive. Going to come for a beer? No. Do you want to go do this? And being on tour, missing your mates, weddings, things like that. The sacrifices you make. But now that you've got a family, I find it much easier, because that's the reward at home.
The startups, right? Being a startup, being a founder, how's that been for you? Like, it's not an easy journey, right? Racing, you said you've done capital raising twice.
Yeah,
it's a full-time job.
It is.
Raising capital is a full-time job.
Yeah, it is. But I find like going to cricket training doesn't really, excite me anymore. I do it because it's, not because I love it, but it's my job, right? Yeah. But I get my muscle memory back in. I'm really excited every time I go to a business meeting, because I know it's a new avenue, a new wire that I haven't crossed before. So meeting new people, whereas I feel like in cricket, you're still developing. And you never stop learning, but it's not as exciting as what I feel is a new chapter coming up for me.
What's been the biggest challenge?
I wasn't saying I was an A-grade student, so just keeping up with, really successful businessmen in the room, and trying to make sure you don't look like an idiot or a moron. You might sit there and just sort of nod your head, but don't speak and don't throw out this
all the terminology is completely different.
Diarrhea that's not me. I feel like I'm pretty genuine in my approach and willing to learn. But don't try and be someone you're not, because at the end of the day, I'm not a businessman. I want to strive.
You're an expert on the field.
How did you fix that? Did you surround yourself with people that know the answers?
Well, you just one step at a time. Like, you're just looking in the right now, not trying to pretend you're someone else. Like, your vocab's only this big. Don't try and throw out these words, or just stay in your lane. Admit that you do need help, right?
Be curious, ask questions.
Yeah, ask questions. On the cricket field, you puff your chest out. You might, if you're out of form, you bluff it, but you can't bluff in business meetings. Like, and you're allowed to admit that your skill set is not as great as his or his, but I'm willing to learn, and I'm willing to volunteer my time with nothing in return. A lot of people now are like, I'll do this for you. Yeah, okay, where's the catch? Do stuff for free and volunteer, and I find that gets you a lot further than.
How does your commercial model work? How does that work for athletes and for yourself?
Well, as an athlete, I know what I demand in the cricket space.
Yeah,
but I don't know what my demand is in the business space. I know a lot of people want to chat to me about cricket. So they will use, oh, hey mate, let's have a chat about Playbook. But then in an interview, that's all they do is just talk about the score in the Sheffield Shield or whatever, and then they'll just put a sentence of Playbook at the end. So they try and get you through other avenues, and I feel like I've pretty switched on with all that now, because they're the time wasters. I'm not a big fan of that.
All right, let's wrap it up. Quick fire questions. You ready?
Let's go.
One word your closest mates would use to describe you.
Aggressive.
A current bowler that you least look forward to facing.
Rashid Khan.
Achievement you're most proud of in your career.
Not really my career, but my daughter.
Who's the best Test cricketer in the world right now?
Pat Cummins.
Who in your career taught you the most about life off the pitch?
Darren Lehman.
What would you rather face, a 160-kilometre bouncer or a 3-minute ice bath?
Now that I'm a bit older, it'll be an ice bath.
What's your most memorable on-field moment last year?
On-field moment last year. Actually, I was on a run. I won 3 tournaments in a row. I went on a tour with 4 tournaments, and I ended up winning, 3 in a row. And the other one I come second, so that was probably the coolest.
Well done. What's the best performance you've witnessed from a teammate?
Best performance I've witnessed. Luke Pommersback, actually, in the Big Bash, when we won it in year 2 of the Big Bash. Scored a magnificent 100 at Marvel against Murley, and I happened to be at the other end. And then in the other semi-final, we had to win. We had to chase 130 off 13 overs, and it was him again. And then in the final, he got us home to win our first Big Bash title for Brisbane.
How good. Yeah. One guilty pleasure food you can't resist.
Pizza. Morning
routine.
I'm up early. I like to get up when the sun gets up. So in the summer, 4:30-ish. In the winter, a little bit later. But I like to get up. I'm fortunate enough I live on the beach, so I get up, either go to the gym and then the beach, or vice versa. But win the morning, win the day, as they say.
Yep. What's your best ever golfing figures?
I got down to a 9. But yeah, it's this morning. I would have been well over that.
What's the best round? What have you done? What's the best score you've had in a round?
I don't think I've broken 80 yet. I think my best is 80 in Abu Dhabi. We're in the COVID bubble, and we were wrapped inside a golf course, Satyat Beach, and we just played every day because that's what we're allowed to do. So
probably won a few longest drive competitions in the day.
I've also lost a lot of balls too.
A talent or skill you wish you had?
Yeah, play golf.
If you had to give up cricket for 1 year and try another profession, what would that be?
Baseball, yeah.
Favourite song you must sing along to?
Favourite song? I'm into Luke Combs at the moment, the Fast Car remix. Yeah, I reckon that's just an easy listen.
All right, last one. What's one thing you wish every young athlete knew before they went off to chase their dream?
Don't panic. Yeah, panic last.
I do have one, considering this is a cricket one. I want to ask each panelist who's your favourite cricketer is.
Mine would have been Shane Warne.
Yeah, Warne is up there, but I think Jacques Kallis is the best cricketer this world's ever seen. And I've been lucky enough to play with him, play against him. Bat, ball and catching he's unbelievable. And his tempo, like we talk about being relaxed, he was asleep before he'd walk out the bat in Test cricket, and just a great fella, yeah.
I loved watching McGrath. It was kind of like my idol when I was growing up, and just loved watching him. And then I got the opportunity to meet him and his family when I was out skiing in Whistler, when I did a season there. That was really, really cool.
And yours?
Should be a Sri Lankan, right? But nah. Jonty Rhodes.
There we go.
He brought the entertainment in Test cricket and everything.
His attitude, fielding's attitude.
Loved it.
Thank you so much, Lenny. An absolute pleasure as usual, mate, and all the best for Playbook. And we'll put something in the show notes for our listeners to come find you.
Awesome. Thank you very
Thank you,
much,
boys.
mate.
Thanks for being here, man. It's been awesome.
Hope you enjoyed this exciting episode of the Mastering Podcast. If you got value from today's conversation, hit that subscribe button now and share this episode with a friend. Until next time.